Welcome to Music Theory Basics Trivia. 100 friendly questions on notes, rhythm, scale. Round 1. Notes in the staff. Notes, clefs in the staff. Question number 1. How many lines are on a standard musical staff? The answer is 5. Fun fact, 5 lines of 4 spaces make up the staff. Question number 2. The treble clef is also known as which clef? The answer is the G clef. Fun fact, its curl circles the line for the note G. Question number 3. The bass clef is also known as which clef? The answer is the F clef. Fun fact, its 2 dots sit around the line for the note F. Question number 4. How many natural notes, letter names, are there before they repeat? The answer is 7. Fun fact, A through G, then it repeats an octave higher. Question number 5. A sharp sign raises a note by how much? The answer is a half step. Fun fact, sharp equals up 1 semitone. Question number 6. A flat sign lowers a note by how much? The answer is a half step. Fun fact, flat equals down 1 semitone. Question number 7. What does a natural sign do? The answer is cancels a sharp or flat. Fun fact, it returns the note to its natural pitch. Question number 8. The distance from one note to the same note higher or lower is called what? The answer is an octave. Fun fact, C to the next C up is 1 octave. Question number 9. How many semitones are in 1 octave? The answer is 12. Fun fact, 12 half steps complete the octave. Question number 10. On a piano, the black keys are arranged in groups of what? The answer is 2s and 3s. Fun fact, that pattern helps you find your way around the keys. Question number 11. Middle C sits roughly where on the piano? The answer is near the center. Fun fact, it's the C closest to the middle of the keyboard. Question number 12. 2 notes that sound the same but are spelled differently, like C sharp and DB, are called what? The answer is enharmonic. Fun fact, same pitch, 2 names. Question number 13. Short lines used to write notes above or below the staff are called what? The answer is ledger lines. Fun fact, they extend the staff for very high or low notes. Question number 14. A vertical line dividing the staff into measures is called what? The answer is a bar line. Fun fact, bar lines separate the music into bars, measures. Question number 15. The symbol at the start of a piece showing sharps or flats is the what? The answer is key signature. Fun fact, it tells you which notes are sharp or flat throughout. Question number 16. Counting up the white keys. How many white keys are in one octave? The answer is 7. Fun fact, 7 white keys, a G, plus the repeat at the octave. Question number 17. The note written on the bottom line of the treble staff is which note? The answer is A. Fun fact, remember every good boy does fine for the lines. Question number 18. The spaces of the treble staff spell which word from bottom to top? The answer is face. Fun fact, FAC is an easy way to remember the spaces. Question number 19. A dot placed after a note does what to its length? The answer is adds half its value. Fun fact, a dotted half note lasts 3 beats instead of 2. Question number 20. The symbol represents which clef? The answer is treble clef. Fun fact, it's the most common clef for higher instruments and voices. Round 2. Rhythm and time. Beats, notes, and time. Question number 21. A whole note typically lasts how many beats in 4/4 time? The answer is 4. Fun fact, it fills an entire 4/4 measure. Question number 22. A half note lasts how many beats in 4/4 time? The answer is 2. Fun fact, 2 half notes fill a 4/4 bar. Question number 23. A quarter note lasts how many beats in 4/4 time? The answer is 1. Fun fact, it's the basic tap your foot beat in 4/4. Question number 24. How many eighth notes equal 1 quarter note? The answer is 2. Fun fact, 2/8 fit in the space of 1 quarter. Question number 25. The top number of a time signature tells you what? The answer is beats per measure. Fun fact, in March 4th, there are 3 beats in each bar. Question number 26. The bottom number of a time signature tells you what? The answer is which note gets 1 beat. Fun fact, a 4 means the quarter note gets the beat. Question number 27. Which time signature is often called common time? The answer is April 4th. Fun fact, it's so common it has the symbol C. Question number 28. A waltz is typically in which time signature? The answer is March 4th. Fun fact, its 1-2-3 lilt is unmistakable. Question number 29. A symbol showing silence for a beat or more is called a what? The answer is a rest. Fun fact, rests are as important as notes. Question number 30. A curved line joining two notes of the same pitch to add their values is a what? The answer is atia. Fun fact, the two notes are played as one longer note. Question number 31. The thick horizontal line connecting 8th or 16th notes is called a what? The answer is a beam. Fun fact, beaming groups notes to show the beat clearly. Question number 32. Tempo refers to what? The answer is the speed of the music. Fun fact, often measured in beats per minute, BPM. Question number 33. The Italian word allegro means the music should be played how? The answer is fast and lively. Fun fact, allegro is a common bright, quick tempo. Question number 34. Adagio means the music should be played how? The answer is slowly. Fun fact, adagio is a calm, slow tempo. Question number 35. How many beats does a dotted half note get in 4/4? The answer is 3. Fun fact, a half note, 2, plus its dot, 1, equals 3 beats. Question number 36. A 16th note is how long compared to an 8th note? The answer is half as long. Fun fact, 2/16 equal 1/8 note. Question number 37. Syncopation means accenting which beats? The answer is the off beats. Fun fact, stressing the weak beats gives music a groove. Question number 38. A fermata over a note tells the performer to do what? The answer is hold it longer. Fun fact, the note is sustained beyond its written value. Question number 39. 6 out of 8 time is usually felt in how many main pulses per bar? The answer is 2. Fun fact, 6/8 notes group into 2 pulses of 3. Question number 40. The little flag on a single 8th note represents what? The answer is half a quarter note's value. Fun fact, 1 flag equals 8th note, 2 flags equals 16th note. Round 3. Scales and keys. Major, minor. Question number 41. How many notes are in a major scale before repeating the octave? The answer is 7. Fun fact, 7 different notes, with the 8th repeating the first. Question number 42. The pattern of steps in a major scale is what? The answer is vuvuka vuvuka. Fun fact, whole and half steps in that order build any major scale. Question number 43. Which major scale has no sharps or flats? The answer is C major. Fun fact, C major is all the white keys on a piano. Question number 44. How many sharps are in the key of G major? The answer is 1. Fun fact, G major has a single sharp, F sharp. Question number 45. Which note is sharp in the key of G major? The answer is F sharp. Fun fact, F sharp is the only sharp in G major. Question number 46. How many flats are in the key of F major? The answer is 1. Fun fact, F major has a single flat, BB. Question number 47. The relative minor of C major is which key? The answer is a minor. Fun fact, it shares the same notes, starting on A. Question number 48. A relative minor begins on which degree of its major scale? The answer is the 6th. Fun fact, count up 6 notes from the major tonic. Question number 49. A minor scale sounds generally how compared to major? The answer is sadder or darker. Fun fact, the lowered third gives minor its melancholy color. Question number 50. The natural minor scale pattern is what? The answer is vulka vu vulka vu vu. Fun fact, it starts whole half, unlike major's whole whole. Question number 51. A pentatonic scale has how many notes? The answer is 5. Fun fact, penta means 5. It's common in folk and pop. Question number 52. A chromatic scale is made up entirely of what? The answer is half steps. Fun fact, it uses all 12 notes in order. Question number 53. The first note of a scale, which gives the key its name, is called the what? The answer is tonic. Fun fact, also called the root or home note. Question number 54. The 5th degree of a scale has which important name? The answer is the dominant. Fun fact, the dominant chord creates a strong pull home. Question number 55. The 7th degree of a major scale, which pulls up to the tonic, is the what? The answer is leading tone. Fun fact, it leads the ear back to the home note. Question number 56. Sharps are added to key signatures in which order? The answer is F, C, G, D, A, U, B. Fun fact, Father Charles goes down and ends battle. Helps you remember. Question number 57. Flats are added to key signatures in which order? Answer is B-U-I-D-G-C-F. Fun fact, it's the reverse of the order of sharps. Question number 58. A parallel minor shares the same. What is its major key? The answer is starting note, tonic. Fun fact, C major and C minor are parallel keys. Question number 59. Two keys that share the same key signature are called what? The answer is relative keys. Fun fact, C major and a minor are relatives. Question number 60. How many major keys are there in total? The answer is 12. Fun fact, one for each note of the chromatic scale. Round 4. Intervals and chords. Intervals. Question number 61. An interval in music is what? The answer is the distance between two notes. Fun fact, intervals are measured in steps and named by number. Question number 62. The interval from C up to G is which interval? The answer is a perfect fifth. Fun fact, C to G spans 5 letter names. Question number 63. The interval from C up to E is which interval? The answer is a major third. Fun fact, major thirds sound bright and happy. Question number 64. A basic triad chord is built from how many notes? The answer is 3. Fun fact, root, third, and fifth stack together. Question number 65. A major triad is built from which intervals above the root? The answer is major third plus minor third. Fun fact, a major third then a minor third gives a bright chord. Question number 66. A minor triad is built from which intervals above the root? The answer is minor third plus major third. Fun fact, flipping the thirds gives the darker minor sound. Question number 67. A C major chord contains which 3 notes? The answer is G, A, G. Fun fact, root C, major third E, perfect fifth G. Question number 68. A diminished triad is built from how many stacked minor thirds? The answer is 2. Fun fact, 2 minor thirds make a tense, unstable chord. Question number 69. An augmented triad has a raised which note? The answer is the 5th. Fun fact, the sharpened 5th gives a dreamy, unsettled sound. Question number 70. When the lowest note of a chord is not the root, the chord is in what? The answer is an inversion. Fun fact, inversions let chords connect smoothly. Question number 71. Adding a 7th to a triad creates what kind of chord? answer is a seventh chord. Fun fact, seventh chords add color and tension. Question number 72. The interval of an octave spans how many letter names? The answer is 8. Fun fact, C up to the next C is 8 letters, C, D, F, G, B, C. Question number 73. A perfect interval can be which of these? The answer is a unison, fourth, fifth, or octave. Fun fact, these intervals are called perfect, not major or minor. Question number 74. The smallest interval commonly used in Western music is the what? The answer is half-step semitone. Fun fact, it's the distance between two adjacent keys. Question number 75. 3 or more notes played together is generally called a what? The answer is a chord. Fun fact, chords provide harmony beneath a melody. Question number 76. The most common 3-chord set in pop and folk is built on which degrees? The answer is I4 and V. Fun fact, countless songs use just these 3 chords. Question number 77. A dominant 7th chord is built on which scale degree? The answer is the 5th. Fun fact, G7 in the key of C wants to resolve home. Question number 78. An arpeggio is a chord played how? The answer is one note at a time. Fun fact, the notes of the chord are spread out in sequence. Question number 79. 2 notes sounding pleasant together are described as what? The answer is consonant. Fun fact, dissonant intervals sound tense and want to resolve. Question number 80. A cadence is what in music? The answer is a chord progression that ends a phrase. Fun fact, cadences give music its sense of punctuation. Round 5, the circle of fifths, the musician's mastermind. Question number 81. The circle of fifths arranges the keys by moving in which interval? The answer is perfect fifths. Fun fact, each step clockwise goes up a perfect fifth. Question number 82. Which key sits at the top, 12 o'clock, of the circle of fifths? The answer is C major. Fun fact, C major, with no sharps or flats, anchors the top. Question number 83. Moving clockwise around the circle of fifths adds what? The answer is 1 sharp each step. Fun fact, C, G, D, A. Each adds another sharp. Question number 84. Moving counterclockwise around the circle of fifths adds what? The answer is 1 flat each step. Fun fact, C, F, B, B, E, B. Each adds another flat. Question number 85. Going clockwise from C, the The next key is which? The answer is G major. Fun fact, G is a perfect fifth above C. Question number 86. Going counterclockwise from C, the next key is which? The answer is F major. Fun fact, F is a perfect fifth below C. Question number 87. How many sharps does D major, 2 steps clockwise, have? The answer is 2. Fun fact, each clockwise step adds a sharp, so D has 2. Question number 88. How many flats does BB major, 2 steps counterclockwise, have? The answer is 2. Fun fact, each counterclockwise step adds a flat. Question number 89. The inner ring of circle of fifths usually shows what? The answer is the relative minor keys. Fun fact, each major key's relative minor sits just inside it. Question number 90. The circle of fifths helps musicians quickly find what? The answer is key signatures. Fun fact, at a glance you see how many sharps or flats a key has. Question number 91. Keys that sit next to each other on the circle are described as what? The answer is closely related. Fun fact, neighboring keys differ by just one sharp or flat. Question number 92. A 2, V. A progression moves around the circle in which direction? The answer is counterclockwise, down in fifths. Fun fact, each chord root falls a fifth, the strongest motion in music. Question number 93. At the bottom of the circle, sharp keys and flat keys meet as what? The answer is enharmonic equivalence. Fun fact, F sharp major and GB major are the same pitches, 2 spellings. Question number 94. The relative minor of G major, found on the circle, is which key? The answer is E minor. Fun fact, E minor shares G major's single sharp. Question number 95. Why is the circle of fifths so useful for songwriters? The answer is, it shows chords that sound good together. Fun fact, neighboring chords on the circle make smooth progressions. Question number 96. Moving a full lap clockwise around the circle returns you after how many steps? The answer is 12. Fun fact, 12 fifths bring you back to the start. Question number 97. The dominant chord of any key is found where on the circle? The answer is 1 step clockwise. Fun fact, G is the dominant of C, sitting 1 step clockwise. Question number 98. The subdominant chord of any key is found where on the circle? The answer is 1 step counterclockwise. Fun fact, F is the subdominant of C, one step counterclockwise. Question number 99. Key signatures with sharps are found on which side of the circle? The answer is the clockwise right side. Fun fact, sharps build going clockwise, flats going counterclockwise. Question number 100. In one sentence, the circle of fifths is a map of what? The answer is how all the keys relate. Fun fact, it's one of the most useful diagrams in all of music. How many did you get right? Comment your score below and subscribe for more music theory challenges.